that's kind of how it works. Like, I needed to stop being soft on myself. I gotta be honest, I like something hard. I'm a solid core girl. Like, I like hard things, and I think that we need to stop shying away from the hard things. I need to put my big girl pants on, and I need to get up, and I need to go. That's it. All right, everyone, spring has officially sprung, and thank God, because I was literally so over the winter. But now it is time to pick out our spring goals. Yes, our second quarterly goal of the year. I know that maybe we might have fallen off the horse during the winter season. I mean, that literally felt like it was 6 years long. I know that some of us maybe fell off of our New Year's resolutions. That's perfectly okay. That's why we abide by the quarterly goal system, because you can always pick things back up 3 months later and completely reinvent yourself if you want to. So let's get into our spring glow up guide. If you want to reinvent yourself this spring, or improve upon yourself, or there's just something that you want to be doing differently, there are 5 things that you need to identify in order to execute that. And I'm going to take you guys along with me as I talk about my spring goal and how I'm getting back on the horse this season. So let's get into it. For step 1, I'm going to take it all the way back to episode 2. Finding your why. If you want to do anything, you need to establish your why. And you're not gonna do it, honestly, none of us are actually gonna get something done unless the why is for real. Like, unless the why is something that is true to us and we deep down feel it, chances are we're gonna fall off the horse. So you gotta basically define step 1, how bad do you want this? How bad do you want to feel more in shape by summer? How bad do you want to fix your confidence issues? How bad do you want this? And why? Why do you want this? So for me, my spring goal is to really prioritize my health. Why? Well, my why is pretty deep. For the past, I want to say 6 months, I've been dealing with some health questions, and I'm good for the most part, so don't worry or anything. But mainly for me, what has come to my attention is inflammation in the body. I have like an inflammation issue, and it has made life kind of annoying recently. Honestly, I haven't felt like myself. I'm constantly tired, constantly dealing with chronic fatigue, migraines, chronic pain. Like, it's just too much. And I don't want to feel that way anymore. And it has gotten to a point where it just feels so out of hand that I'm like, all right, I need to do something now. I need to do something now that modern medicine can't always give me. I need to heal myself from within. So that's my why. But it had to really get to a point where I really felt like I woke up and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Who wants to wake up and feel like a vampire just sucked the life out of them? Nobody. So at that point, I had had enough, and I was like, okay, I need to take this into my own hands. That's my why. What's your why? Sometimes you really need to hit a wall with something before you can really find out, why do you want things to change so bad? You know, why do you feel like you want to improve your confidence? Why do you feel like you want to get in shape this summer? Like, do you really want this? Once you find that out, once you have that fire in you, once you get that dog in you, you'll be able to do the rest of the whole journey. Now, the second key here is to remember that it's you versus you. You are not going up against anyone. You're not comparing yourself to anyone. You are literally just comparing yourself to you versus your best self. If you compare yourself to others, of course, you're not going to be happy with your results. You're not going to be happy with how things are going, because you're not understanding that this is just you. So because we're just comparing ourselves to ourselves, the second method, the second key is to identify a time where you felt closest to that goal. It's like, if you fell off the bandwagon, okay, when you did feel like you were on the right track, what were some of the things that you were doing? When I think back to when I didn't feel chronically tired and I didn't feel like sick all the time, what was my lifestyle like? What was my routine like? Obviously, I was in college and I had a lot more time to invest in my health, but what were some of the key factors there? How much was I working out? What was I eating? What was I doing? And how can I bring this into this routine? I know that now I'm a full-time commuter, and I work long hours and I commute long hours, so I don't always have that kind of time, but I still need to find a way to interject those things that fundamentally did work for me back then into now. So for me, I felt my best when I was on an non-inflammatory anti-inflammatory, non-inflammatory diet. And that is not just eating clean, but there's like a lot of other like specific foods that you eat that can have anti-inflammatory properties, like antioxidants, berries, leafy greens, all that kind of stuff. Chickpeas, like that was my favorite food. And I was eating those things and I was on this anti-inflammatory diet, not really realizing and not really caring too much too. I just loved that health aspect. But along the way, like, you know, with working and being so busy, I started eating out of convenience. And I'm not saying it was absolute crap, but it wasn't as meticulous as that diet was. To be honest, as I thought deeper about it, it feels weird because on one hand, I feel like, you know, I should be able to say, okay, I can have a burger, or okay, I can have a more balanced lifestyle or diet. I shouldn't have to be so strict. But then I realized that's kind of keeping me from my goal of feeling good again. So then I had to ask myself, how rigorous do I need to be about this? How strict do I need to be about this? I'm honestly beginning to think that to a degree, sometimes balance can be a myth. Like, and I don't mean to sound crazy, but I think in my case, it's like, okay, in my case, if I really want to feel better and, you know, really reverse how I'm feeling inside, I need to be a lot more strict about it, at least for a period of time so that I can get things going again. For example, some of the changes I'm making is cutting out alcohol for this entire month. I've never been like a dry January kind of person. I honestly thought that those like temporary changes, like I never saw the point, right? But now that I'm like, okay, I need to stop making compromises on my goals in the name of being balanced, and I just need to fully go for it. I gotta dunk head first into this and say, you know what, I'm cutting this out for 30 days. My body needs a break, especially since I'm already dealing with inflammation and all this stuff. Why am I drinking this thing that is literally, I can feel my body getting hot and inflamed every time I drink? So why am I still doing that? Just so I can say I'm balanced and I'm healthy and I'm still drinking? No, I'm not healthy. So I got to give it up, at least for time, because I actually do want this. I actually do want to feel good again. And that's the thing. When you identify your why is deep enough in your soul, like you can make those sacrifices for it. Now, in that whole thought process dump I just did, my big epiphany, I also just named 2 other main key points for this whole journey. The first is finding out what in your routine contradicts what you actually want. So if I want to feel good again, that means that I should be prioritizing what's going in my body and what I'm doing with my body. So that means sleep, fitness, nourishment, water intake, limiting the toxins that are going into my body. And I'm asking myself, okay, what in my routine is not aligning with that? To be honest, drinking definitely was. It's not to say that I was even like, I haven't even really been going out anymore, but like I would go out for drinks with my coworkers after work every once in a while. That I'm completely cutting that out now. I'll just get water now. And again, I never really thought that this is something I would actually commit to doing, but again, I want it that bad. And I'm tired of, you know, wanting to decrease my inflammation, but then consuming things that are making it worse, consuming foods that are making it worse. When I say that balance might be a myth, I think that's just for like the beginning of a journey. If you were trying to establish things, I do believe you need to go head first, and that's why I'm cutting this stuff out. But, you know, I hope that I can really detox, refresh myself, and get on the right track so that in a few months I can engage in some of those things with moderation, without feeling completely bad. I think my body just needs a reset, and, you know, from its own thing that it's been doing from the side, but I should not be making it worse with external factors. And same goes to any other goal that you might have for this spring. If your goal is simply just to get in the gym more and work out, ask yourself, what is contradicting that? If I want to be more fit, what am I doing right now that does not align with that? All right, for one, I'm not paying attention to how sedentary I am during the day. I sit at my desk all day and I don't get up at all. All right, well, that might be it. I'm not waking up early. I'm not really choosing to make the time. Find out like what's not clicking here, you know what I'm saying? If you want to be more confident, what in your routine is not clicking with that goal? Are you waking up and rolling out of bed because you're not confident within, and then you don't really take pride in how you present yourself to the world? Well, then if that's the case, then you're going to continue to feel that way. If you are working on being more confident, step 1, get yourself some new makeup, get yourself a new outfit. Like, I have to really think, okay, what am I doing that is literally the antithesis of what I really want, so that I can stop that inertia of just continuing to flatline and feel like crap, you know? And that kind of leans into the other idea, is that you have to ask yourself, what compromises have I been making lately? That's pretty much the same thing. I don't know why I said that there was 5 principles, probably 4.5, but ask yourself, what have I been compromising on? Things that are a distraction from what you really want, that's compromising. So for me, if I really want to get after something, I have to audit and look around and ask myself, like, where am I compromising my energy? If I want to give my energy to something, I have to look at where am I wasting it first. So I had to look around and see the things that were draining my energy, draining my vibration. What habits? Of course, the drinking first to go. Relationships. And I'm not saying all relationships. I'm saying identifying where I felt like a relationship was no longer watering me, and I think that it was contributing to the chronic stress in my body and the general unhappiness. You know, we can pour ourselves into something all we want, but at a certain point you realize you're only hurting yourself, and that's when you have to claim your energy back and put it back into yourself. So yeah, that's what I had to do too. I had to really look around my life and just think, okay, what changes do I need to be making here so that I can fully commit to this? Because if I want it, I have to commit to it. So where can I focus in and where can I let go? Another compromise I was making was a lack of structure. I thought that, you know, having balance and going easy on myself was a more healthy thing to do, but I realized that's actually not the case for me. I'm sorry, I might sound crazy, but I need structure. I need a hard deadline. I need hard boundaries. And when I think back to what I was doing when I felt my best, I had hard boundaries. Like, I would literally go to bed at 1, 2 and still wake up to go to the gym at 6. Like, and that's not healthy because you need sleep, but that shows how disciplined I was and how hard I was on myself. Like I said, if I'm doing this, I'm doing it and it's getting done. Somewhere along the way, I became soft. Somewhere along the way, I was like, you know what? You worked hard today. You're tired. It's okay. No, actually, it's not okay. No, it's not okay. I'm sorry. I told myself I need to do it, and now it needs to get done. Because if not, I'm going to be mad at myself and I'm not going to do the thing I want to do. So yeah, it's about having discipline. I remember when I was in high school, I had this teacher that I really looked up to, and he said to us that discipline is the difference between what you want now versus what you want later. So I had to really, remember that my whole life since, and especially now. Maybe I want to scroll on my phone a little bit longer, but no, because I need my sleep. Because if I want to reduce my inflammation, I need sleep. And then I also need sleep so that I can go to the gym in the morning or go to Pilates in the morning and get that workout in so that I can feel better. That's kind of how it works. Like, I needed to stop being soft on myself. I gotta be honest, I like something hard. I'm a solid core girl. Like, I like hard things, and I think that we need to stop shying away from the hard things. I need to put my big girl pants on, and I need to get up, and I need to go. That's it. And that's why I went so full force in the no drinking challenge that I'm doing why some people would do 75 hard is because I needed to owe something to myself. I needed to create that hard boundary and practice fully saying no to something or fully saying yes to doing something. I just deeply need that discipline back in order for me to feel good again, because that was a huge X factor that I had when I felt my best. Same thing with the whole foods, that means that I need to be way more strict with myself. Most people should be able to enjoy a pizza or a burger every now and then. Heck, I loved to as well. But I know that for where I'm at, and for how I'm feeling and my health stuff, that's what I need to do. I need to be hard and I need to be strict with myself. And that's that, at least for a time. But it's about owing it to yourself, owing yourself something, and keeping the promises that we make to ourselves. I think that's a major key, is asking how we can keep the promises that we make to ourselves, or just having that play in your head while you're just trying to get your stuff done. A lot of times we push things off because we can, all it is just answering to ourselves. We're not pissing off anybody. So for that reason, sometimes we push ourselves off and make ourselves last. But that's kind of sucky if you're not keeping the promises that you're making to yourself. If you have a friend or a sibling that is asking you to pick them up from work and you say, yeah, I'm gonna come, and then you don't show up, and they ask you again and you say, yeah, I'm gonna come, and you don't show up, and you keep doing that over and over and over, and you're not keeping the promise to them and you're leaving them stranded, that would make you a bad friend, right? Because you're not keeping the promises that you're making to them. So why are we doing that to ourselves? Why am I compromising on what I really want? Why am I telling myself that I'm going to do something, or telling myself that I want to reduce this or do this to make myself feel better again, and I'm simply not doing that, or I'm doing it kind of half-ass, or I'm not committing to it all the way? I'm cheating myself. I'm being a bad friend to me. And I can't do that anymore if my goal is to feel good. Then I'm just walking around feeling sucky because I know I'm not giving something my all. So that's kind of a lot, and that's where I am with it. Honestly, all of March I was really thinking deeply about how I want to feel and how I want things to be for the rest of the year. I think that, I was really reminded of what's important, and that's your body and your health and your mind and your soul and all of that stuff. It's you. And if you do not feel good inside, you cannot just go through life that way. We all have to figure out if there is something that we also are carrying or is bringing us down, and working towards eliminating that and really checking ourselves and correcting those habits that are just bringing us down and keeping us from our best self. My goal is really to feel so refreshed and renewed, and I told myself that April 1st I was going hardcore, and we are 5 days in, and I already do feel better, to be honest, and I can't wait to see how this unfolds for me, and I can't wait to take you guys on the journey of feeling better. And also, of course, with whatever your goals are, I really hope that you are able to dig deep and identify your why, where you've been making compromises, where you've been cheating yourself, maybe figuring out what were the things that did work for you in the past instead of comparing yourself to others, and of course, actually keeping the promises that we make to ourselves. Those are all the keys. I'm going to be doing them, and you're going to be doing them with me, and we are going to be seeing each other in 3 months feeling finer and better and just overall happier with ourselves. So let's do it. And of course, without further ado, now it is time for the song of the week. This week's song of the week was Sunshine and Rain by Kali Uchis. This song is so beautiful. I'm really happy to hear that, she has new music coming out. This song is so sweet, and I was listening to it on my way home from work the other day, and it just perfectly encapsulated how I've been feeling lately. Just there's rain and there's sunshine, and we're trying to maintain the balance. I feel like I came out of a bit of a rainy season, with confronting things with my health and just other factors of life, and now it's time to get to the sunshine. It feels like just such a nice springy song. It has such a great energy with it, and so for that reason, it deserves to be on the Mindfully Aligned playlist. So that was the song of the week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things, show all the love. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm happy to be back and taking you guys along with me on this journey. You can check it out too on the Mindfully Aligned Instagram. And yeah, I'll see you guys. Bye.